Good evening. Tonight, July 11th, 2025, the world's attention is locked on the Taiwan Strait, a critical waterway that has become the focal point of escalating international tensions. The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential ramifications are far-reaching. A narrow stretch of water now at the heart of a global crisis. This isn't just a regional concern, it's a powder keg that could ignite a much larger conflict, impacting economies and security structures worldwide. Tensions between China and Taiwan have reached a boiling point, fueled by a complex history and differing visions for the future. Diplomatic efforts are underway, but the path to de-escalation remains uncertain, with military buildups and diplomatic standoffs pushing both sides closer to the edge than in decades. The increased military presence in the region is a stark reminder of the potential for miscalculation and the urgent need for dialogue. What was once a regional dispute, confined to the geopolitical dynamics of East Asia, now threatens global security, the world economy, and the principles of sovereignty. The interconnected nature of our world means that instability in one region can quickly ripple outwards, affecting trade, investment, and international relations. Beijing's calls for reunification have grown more forceful, accompanied by increasingly assertive rhetoric and actions in the region. While Taiwan's democratic identity has only strengthened, with a population determined to preserve its autonomy and way of life, this commitment to self-determination is a key factor in the ongoing tensions. The line between military exercises and real invasion is now dangerously blurred, raising concerns about potential misinterpretations and accidental escalation. Leaving the world on high alert as leaders and policymakers grapple with the implications of this escalating crisis. Understanding these developments is crucial, requiring careful analysis of the historical context, the political dynamics, and the potential consequences. Not just for geopolitics, but for the future of our interconnected world. The decisions made in the coming days and weeks will shape the global landscape for years to come, underscoring the importance of informed dialogue and responsible action. By 2025, the PLA, or People's Liberation Army, has dramatically transformed the strategic landscape around Taiwan. What was once a relatively stable, albeit tense, situation has morphed into a persistent demonstration of military might. The skies and seas, once international waterways, are increasingly dominated by Chinese military presence. They've effectively turned the area into a theater of intimidation, a constant reminder of Beijing's power and its willingness to project it. This isn't just about military exercises, it's about shaping perceptions and influencing behavior. Massive drills such as the highly publicized Joint Sword 2025B serve as a stark warning. These aren't routine exercises, they are carefully orchestrated displays of force designed to send a clear message. These drills have simulated full-scale assault scenarios, practicing the complex maneuvers required for a potential invasion. They showcase the PLA's capabilities and readiness to execute a range of military options. Warships and fighter jets routinely encircle the island, pushing the boundaries of what's considered normal military activity. This constant presence creates a sense of siege, a feeling of being surrounded and isolated. They are also practicing blockades, simulating the cutting off of essential supplies, and conducting missile strike drills, demonstrating the ability to cripple key infrastructure. These exercises are not just about military readiness, they are about psychological warfare. Chinese forces now routinely cross the Taiwan Strait's median line, a previously respected though unofficial boundary. This deliberate act of defiance challenges the status quo and asserts Beijing's claim over the island. These incursions are a constant test of Taiwan's defenses, forcing the island's military to scramble jets and activate air defense systems, and a test of its resolve, gauging its willingness to stand firm in the face of increasing pressure. The PLA's rocket force regularly simulates precision strikes on key infrastructure targets, demonstrating the capability to disable critical systems and disrupt daily life. This is a clear signal of the potential consequences of resistance. Simultaneously, naval operations are pushing further into the Pacific, extending China's reach and influence, and serving as a deterrent to potential US intervention. This is a strategic move to complicate any potential defense of Taiwan. Long-range missile tests and increasingly frequent submarine deployments further underscore China's growing military capabilities and its willingness to project power far beyond its borders. These actions send a clear and unmistakable message. Beijing is prepared to use force if necessary to achieve its objectives regarding Taiwan. The message is intended for both Taiwan and the international community. For the people of Taiwan, near daily incursions into their airspace and the unsettling wail of air raid sirens have become the new normal, a constant reminder of the looming threat. This constant state of alert has become a part of daily life, a subtle but persistent form of pressure that wears on the population. It's a carefully orchestrated psychological campaign designed to wear down resistance, to erode the will to resist, and to create a sense of inevitability. This is a war of nerves, a battle for hearts and minds as much as it is a display of military might. It's a calculated strategy designed to make the cost of defiance unbearable, to make surrender seem like the only viable option. Ultimately, Beijing hopes that this overwhelming pressure will force a political solution on its terms, ideally without firing a single shot, achieving unification through coercion rather than outright military conquest. Taiwan's answer is the porcupine strategy, making invasion too costly for China to contemplate. Rather than matching China's military might, Taiwan focuses on asymmetric warfare mobile missile units, anti-ship and anti-tank weapons, and layered air defenses. US-made harpoons and javelins, along with Taiwan's own Xiongfeng and Skybow systems, form a dense web of deterrence. Civil defense and reserve training have ramped up, preparing the entire population to resist occupation. Frequent drills teach citizens to respond to air raids and cyber attacks, building resilience at every level. Taiwan's greatest asset is its people's determination to remain free. The goal convinced Beijing that any invasion would be long, bloody, and uncertain. In 2025, Taiwan is sharpening its quills like never before. The world is no longer treating the Taiwan Strait as a local issue. The US and Japan have stepped up, with Tokyo now viewing Taiwan's security as vital to its own and boosting defense ties with Washington. The EU, while cautious due to economic ties with China, has condemned destabilizing actions and warned against forceful changes to the status quo. ASEAN nations walk a tightrope, balancing economic dependence on China with growing security concerns. Some, like the Philippines and Vietnam, are quietly strengthening ties with the US. Others hope to stay neutral, wary of being caught in a superpower clash. The crisis has truly gone global, with alliances and warnings multiplying. US policy toward Taiwan has long relied on strategic ambiguity, never saying outright if it would defend the island. In 2025, that ambiguity is under intense strain. Congress pushes for a clear defense commitment, arguing that only explicit support can deter Beijing. The White House remains cautious, fearing a formal pledge could provoke China or embolden Taiwan. After China's major drills, President Biden reaffirmed US commitments, but stopped short of a defense guarantee. Arms sales and naval patrols have increased, drawing sharp warnings from Beijing. Both superpowers are signaling resolve, but the risk of miscalculation is higher than ever. The tightrope of ambiguity is fraying, and one wrong move could have global consequences. The Taiwan crisis isn't just military, it's economic. Taiwan's TSMC produces over 90% of the world's advanced semiconductors, making the island a silicon shield and a prime target. China has imposed politically motivated import bans, aiming to hurt Taiwan's economy and morale. The US, EU, and Japan have tightened export controls on chip technology to China, trying to slow Beijing's military modernization. In response, China is pouring billions into its own chip industry, but still lags behind. Global companies are scrambling to diversify supply chains, but replicating Taiwan's ecosystem will take years. The world economy now teeters on a knife's edge, vulnerable to any disruption in the strait. Economic warfare is now a central front in the conflict. The digital war is already raging. Taiwan faces relentless cyber attacks on government, finance, and infrastructure, many traced to Beijing. Disinformation campaigns flood social media, aiming to erode trust in democracy and sow division. Taiwan has become a global leader in cyber defense, with government, tech firms, and citizens working together to counter fake news and digital sabotage. Public awareness campaigns teach people to spot and stop disinformation. In 2025, the battle for hearts and minds is as fierce as any on land or sea. As we reflect on the past year, it's clear that 2025 has been punctuated by moments of intense geopolitical tension, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. 3 distinct flashpoints stand out, each a stark reminder of the delicate balance of power and the ever-present risk of escalation. These events have not only defined the year's crisis landscape, but have also reshaped the global understanding of modern conflict. First, the Penghu Island standoff. This incident served as a potent demonstration of China's assertive posture in the Taiwan Strait. In a move that sent shockwaves through the international community, Chinese warships entered Taiwanese waters, specifically near the strategically vital Penghu Islands. This incursion triggered a tense naval face-off, with Taiwanese vessels responding swiftly to assert their sovereignty before the Chinese warships ultimately withdrew. The world watched with bated breath as two powerful navies came perilously close to direct engagement. Many analysts interpreted this maneuver as a rehearsal for seizing outlying islands, a potential precursor to a larger military operation against Taiwan itself. The Penghu Islands, in particular, hold immense strategic value, controlling key access routes in the Taiwan Strait. Second, tensions flared after a major U.S. arms sale to Taiwan. This deal, intended to bolster Taiwan's defensive capabilities, was viewed by Beijing as a direct challenge to its territorial claims. In response, Beijing retaliated with sweeping sanctions, escalating the already fraught economic tensions between the two powers. These sanctions were far-reaching, targeting not just Taiwanese firms involved in the arms deal, but also U.S. defense contractors and even major tech giants with business interests in China. This marked a new and dangerous level of economic warfare, demonstrating a willingness to inflict pain on companies far removed from the immediate conflict zone. It effectively made corporations direct targets in the geopolitical struggle, forcing them to navigate an increasingly complex and perilous landscape. The long-term consequences for global trade and investment remain uncertain. Third, the digital blackout drill served as a chilling reminder of the vulnerabilities of modern infrastructure. In this simulated attack, a massive cyber attack crippled Taiwan's government and media outlets for several hours, plunging the island into a state of near-total information darkness. The drill was designed to simulate the chaos and disruption that would likely accompany the opening moments of a full-scale invasion, highlighting the critical importance of cybersecurity and resilience. These incidents, taken together, have tested established red lines, provoked strong global reactions from world leaders and international bodies. They have undeniably brought the region closer to the brink of a potential conflict, raising serious concerns about the future of peace and stability in the Asia-Pacific. Each flashpoint reveals the increasingly dangerous interplay of military, economic, and digital conflict, blurring the lines between traditional warfare and hybrid strategies. In this environment of heightened tension and complex interactions, the risk of miscalculation has never been higher, demanding careful diplomacy and strategic foresight. The world is watching with growing concern, hoping that these moments will remain as stark warnings rather than tragic preludes to a wider and more devastating war. The next flashpoint, should it occur, could very well change everything, irrevocably altering the geopolitical landscape and ushering in an era of unprecedented uncertainty. As 2025 unfolds, the future is uncertain and the stakes immense. One scenario, a tense, grinding stalemate, with China's pressure campaign continuing but stopping short of invasion. Another, a fragile de-escalation requiring bold diplomacy and a shift in Beijing's calculus. The worst case, a full-scale war could erupt from a single misstep, with catastrophic human and economic costs. The world stands at a crossroads, hoping for restraint but preparing for the worst. The choices made in the coming months will shape the fate of Taiwan, China, and the global order. The world holds its breath, waiting to see what comes next.